If you want to become a millionaire in real estate, this is the one skill you need to master, and that is negotiation. Negotiation is going to help you to turn bad deals into great deals, or even turn good deals, just plain old good deals, into great deals for you. And it doesn't just involve you negotiating great terms for yourself, but also great terms for the seller. So here are some tips for you and for anyone that wants to build the skill and how you can go by this. Tip number one is to have market knowledge. Knowledge is power. So make sure that you do your research. The one who knows the market always wins. So for example, if I am buying a condominium in Kololo for investment, I'm going to need to know what that condominium is going to rent out for. So in the general area, how much a condominium is, maybe 2 bed, if I'm looking at a 2 bed, a 3 bed, how much is the 2 bed renting out for? And maybe another thing is which kind of market am I in? Is it a seller's market or a buyer's market? If it's a seller's market, then they have more leverage than me and I may need to bring in more terms to make the deal sweet for them. But if it's a buyer's market, then I have the upper hand and then I can sort of try to make the deal even better and sweeter for me. So the first tip here is to always do your research. Have the power of knowledge. The one who knows the market always wins at the end. Tip number two is to know your limits. So set a maximum price before you go into the negotiation. Have deal breakers and a walk away point before you actually go into the meeting. A point whereby if the negotiation reaches that, or if the seller is not willing to compromise on A, B, C, D, you will walk away from the deal. And it's not about being a stubborn seller or buyer, but it's about knowing what your limits are, not going over budget, because that's one of the biggest mistakes people make. And then they get into these mortgages and houses that they either can't afford, can't rent, and they have a very bad landlording experience, bad real estate experience, when the first thing was they neglected their limits. So make sure that you set the right budget, make sure that you know which terms for you would be a deal breaker. If, for example, the seller is asking you to pay the broker's commission, is that something you are willing to do, or would that be a deal breaker for you? In cases where those negotiations come to that point, you have to be able to weigh both sides and see what actually works for you. And if you have already thought about this beforehand, you're able to negotiate better because you can easily always counter offer, because you know what you're not willing to compromise on, and then you know what you want. So you keep on adjusting between what you are willing to give up and then what you're not willing to give up. So that's simply knowing your limits and setting that maximum price, the deal breakers, and a walk away point before you actually go into the meeting. Tip number three is to aim for a win-win situation. So whenever we are transacting in real estate, you're not just buying land, you're not just buying a condominium in Kololo. You are trying to build trust with this person. A happy seller is going to help to make the buying process a whole lot smoother for you. So make sure that while you are negotiating, you're not trying to pin the other party into a corner. I see a lot of buyers that come into a negotiation knowing that the seller needs to sell and they want to sell, but then they try to make sure that the terms are only favorable for them, and they put that seller in a very bad position. Now, this makes it so that when the seller gets another offer, whether it is even at the same price, but they have not been given these harsh terms like you have, they are going to take that person over you. You're going to lose the deal simply because you're not looking for a win-win situation. Make sure that when you're coming into these deals, yes, you want to maximize your return, but also make sure that you're maximizing for the seller's experience. A happy seller is going to be a much smoother experience for you. They will be able to maybe help out on broker fees. They will be able to help you with a contact in cases here that can help to get these contracts done. All these things are going to be benefits just because of that trust that you build. So maybe you have a quarrel with a neighbor. Later on, the owner is actually even more inclined to come and help you to resolve that, even after they have moved out of the deal, simply because you built that trust. But if you cornered them, they'll be like, let him deal with that, since he is not even a good person. It is actually good that it is happening to them. So you need to always go into these negotiations finding the best way for everyone in the negotiation, all the parties, to make sure that they come out with a win-win situation. So those are the 3 tips I would recommend to any real estate investor that wants to get better at negotiation. Maybe a bonus tip here is to always stay calm. Make sure that you listen more, because I have seen a lot of deals fall out simply because of emotions. Listening unlocks that hidden value of that connection that you're going to have with the seller. So real estate is not going to be about this whole luck that maybe you just got a good deal. most of the time you're going to have to find your way to a good deal, and that is going to all depend on how well you're able to negotiate the deal. It's about better negotiation. And like we say, if you want to be a millionaire, this is the one skill that is going to help you get there. So if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, please share it with someone that also wants to achieve millionaire status through real estate, someone that is trying to negotiate better deals, someone that is going into a buying process, into a selling process. Make sure that they have these tips before they go into that process, so that they are able and better prepared to actually deal with everything that comes through all that. So please consider following and liking the video. If you would also like to work with trusted agents that are going to look out for you through the whole negotiation process, we have a brokerage arm that does this so well, and I would recommend that you work with us. Otherwise, this has been your Threalty Insights tip for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.